Welcome, everyone, to this episode of My Golden Life. I'm Lisa Neller, your host, and today I have a special guest, and her name is Lena Morrissey. And I want to just tell you how I met Lena. Um, Somebody actually told me about her. I was, having a conversation with someone, and she said, "Oh, you need to meet Lena Morrissey." And I said, "Oh, okay, why?" And she said, "Well, she runs, excuse me, she runs this networking group for women. It's like a community of women is it's what it's called, a community of women in Chandler, Arizona. And she has lunches monthly and guest speakers. And um, anyway, you just need to meet her." And I said, "Okay, great." So I reached out and we connected. Lane and I had a conversation. And then I did go out to a couple of her events,
Mhm.
a community of women events at Mimi's Cafe in Chandler, Arizona. And then eventually spoke at one. Not too long after that, I did a little presentation on the art of being. So Lena is here to talk about starting over and reinventing ourselves. Because in her story, excuse my voice today, it's a little raspy, but in her story, um, she's started over many times. So I'm so while I don't have this big long bio and I don't do bios for everyone anyway, I'm just going to have her share her story and tell us about herself, and then we'll go from there. So Lena, I want to welcome you to My Golden Life. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself. You can tell us where you live and some of your reinvention stories.
Sure. Well, right now I'm currently in Gold Canyon. My husband and I moved here 3 years ago. And I think that my story started, I was raised as an army brat. My father married an Italian war bride. And so we moved every 3 years back and forth from the United States to Europe, back and forth. So change has been very easy for me. And I think that's where the reinvention comes from.
Okay.
So, and in fact, I love change. I really embrace it. It's just exciting. And so I realized, I believe it was when I was in my 30s, that I could not work for someone. I had to be on my own. And so I started my first business in my early 30s, probably 32, and I started cleaning homes. So I had a cleaning business for 11 years. And and then I decided that I needed to change. So I started a cab for kids business, and this was a transportation service for children going to and from school to their after school activities. And I did that for about 2 years, and I didn't like that. And so I decided to try something else.
Well, let me back up a second. Let me back you up. Let's go to the first thing you did, which was the 11-year business, house cleaning business. Did you hire employees to work for you? Was it,
I did,
yeah?
yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then what happened? Did you just get burned out on
I
that?
just
Like,
got burned out. It was time for a change, and I wanted to do something different. So
okay.
I decided to try this transportation service for children. I saw someone doing it in another state, and I thought, what a great idea.
Yeah.
At the time, I had children, and I was taking them to and from activities, and I could have used a little help. So that only lasted 2 years because I really didn't like it. And then I decided to go into the mortgage industry. So I went into the mortgage industry for 17 years. I pretty much did everything in there. I was a mortgage loan officer, a processor. I did some underwriting, and I was happiest when I was alone, being a mortgage loan officer, just doing my own thing. So fast forward to 2008, 2009, when the economy and the banking industry went upside down. I decided that's it, I'm done. And I
Well,
started
how
my
many years did you do that, the mortgage business?
17.
17 years. You said that at the beginning, but I missed that. Okay, so 17 years. That's a long time. So you really were good at that. Like you knew, were you in sales or you were processing, mostly
I
processing?
was mostly in the sales end of it.
Oh, okay.
And then when I but I wanted to learn everything. So I pretty much did everything.
Which is great. in a sales position when you have done everything and you kind of know, the ins and outs of everything. But
Right.
okay, so you did that for 17 years and
Right.
then,
And then when the economy tanked in '08, I started buying gold. I was one of these we buy gold buyers.
okay,
And that was fun. I just loved it. But that also ran out. So
okay.
so and then what I did was I got into farmers markets. I love to bake bread. I love to do things at home. I make my own vanilla. Like we were just talking about ice cream. I make my own chocolate ice cream because it's not chocolatey enough. So I was selling spices and things that I was creating at the farmers market for a while, and then COVID hit, and so that stopped me from going to the farmers market. And Dean and I then moved out to Gold Canyon, which was 3 years ago. We both decided that we were going to retire at the time. And when I moved out to Gold Canyon, I also decided, I made a decision that I wanted to really understand who I was, my power. I wanted to understand completely that I was unlimited, because we've all been told we were unlimited. We've all been told that we have this amazing power. And so when we moved to Gold Canyon, I made a decision, okay, I want to do this. I want to find out who I am, and I want to find out how unlimited I am. And so I started going on this journey and reading all these books and joining these books clubs. And the more I learned, the more exciting it got for me. And then I had an incident where I had this memory, a childhood memory that came up, and I mean, I was in my 60s when this memory hit me, late 60s. And so when that memory came up, I was like in this shock state. And then this ad came up on my phone for NeuroGym, and I saw my finger go boom. It just went automatically. My finger just went boom. So I took this 6 months course with NeuroGym, and boy, was that the best thing that I ever did, because it really opened up my mind. It made me understand how our brain works, how incredible we are, how powerful we are, and that just did it for me. I really understood after that. And so I've been on this journey continuously to learn more and grow more. And during that time span, when I was coming up with all these answers, um, I was getting messages and from the universe, God, whoever. I was getting these
Yeah.
messages, and I was really getting this message to start a women's group, to start an empowerment group, to spread the word and help women understand who they are as well. So that's why I started this group. It came from that whole experience of trying to understand who I was, my own power, and that's my goal and my dream is to just let women, especially women, know who they are and how powerful they are. And we're it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're going to talk about your group in just a minute, but I thought you did something like, didn't you have a business where you like were a fix-it person? Like, did
Oh
you?
yes, I forgot about that one.
I want to hear about that one because that really intrigued
Okay.
me as
Yeah,
well.
so
Yeah.
I'm also very handy. And the reason why I'm handy is because my husband, every time something went wrong in our house, we've been married for 48 years, long, long time.
Yeah.
So every time something went wrong in my house, my husband said, "Oh, I'm an actor. I can't fix that." And I just he's he's not really an actor, but
Oh, okay.
okay.
But
He's had a few claims to fame, but okay. So bottom line is that he wouldn't fix anything, and I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to learn. And this was way back before YouTube videos and all that came out. And if there was a plumbing issue, I'd take the plumbing piece apart, and then I would take it to the plumbing store, and I would say, "Can you help me fix this? Can you show me how to do it?" And then if something else happened, I would take it to the hardware store, and that's how I learned. So when the economy tanked, I was trying to figure out, and the gold market, the gold buying wasn't working anymore. I decided that maybe I should fix things because that's when I'm really good at it. And I started this woman's group called Handyman Repair. It was a repair business for women. Women would come to your home, and it was women to women pretty much.
Okay.
And that was going really well until something happened. So
Okay. Okay. So how long did you do that? For a couple years?
I actually did that for about, I'd say about a year and a half.
About a year and a half. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a good chunk of time to try something. Um, I wanted to see if I could ask you some questions here. What do you think has been the biggest challenge in reinventing yourself over the years? And how did you overcome it? What would be a challenge that you ran across and how did you overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge is mindset, my mindset, dealing with the voices, telling it. So I think that's the biggest challenge. And I've just, so in the morning when I have a morning routine where I write down 10 things that I'm appreciate, that I'm thankful for. I do a
Mm,
lot of journaling, a lot of writing. I'm in a book club. I'm also in a mastermind group to keep my mindset correct and in place. So
yeah.
that's my biggest challenge, I feel, is the inner voices.
Mm. I would say that's probably universal. And one of the things I think you shared with me was this application called Mind Tracks,
Yes.
and I have morning routine too, and it really starts with that. So I love that you have a gratitude practice because I think when you're in gratitude, you can't really suffer too much, right? You the challenges seem to kind of flow, and you get things. And also then feeding your mind daily.
Mhm.
And with me, it's a combination of things that may include, mind tracks. It may include a meditation from Insight Timer or listening to a hypnosis session that I had or joining my coach's 15-minute daily motivational call, those kinds of things. So I love that you brought that up because I think women out there who are wanting to reinvent themselves or try something new are going to come up against a wall, and that wall is mental. That wall is you're too old, you're
Mhm.
too, you don't have this skill, you don't have that knowledge or whatever. It sounds to me like you've overcome a lot of obstacles, including skill and knowledge. Like you just go out and learn something.
I pretty much do. And I watch YouTube. Like I just fixed our fireplace yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's
It wasn't
amazing.
lighting. Okay. So So yes, and I love to do stuff like that. It's quite a sense of accomplishment. I'm not crazy about plumbing, but
Yeah.
I do like to use the drill, and I do like to fix things.
Yes, I can see that. And that's a great gift and skill. And sometimes I will be willing to fix something if it's not too complicated. And what I've realized is that if I just read the directions, it really is just a matter of slowing down, reading directions. If you can follow directions, and they
Yes,
tell you where to put the screw, that kind of
yes.
thing. Like you can figure it out if you want to. And of course, sometimes I'd rather hand it over to someone else. Um, do you mind? Well, let me ask you this. What would you say has been the most surprising or rewarding part of your journey of reinventing yourself and starting over?
I would say and the most rewarding would be the excitement of understanding the power, my own power, and who we really are. I had no idea. I had no idea who we are, who I
Yeah.
was.
When you
And
discovered that, did you change in some way? Like did Dean, your husband, recognize like a different version of you? Like,
he did. Yeah, he did. He's the most supportive person ever. And I mentioned we've been married 48 years, and he's just so supportive. Really nice, gentle man.
Well, I've met him, and so I
Yes.
agree. He's wonderful. He is very supportive.
Mhm.
Um, so do you mind telling our audience how old you are? I'm just going to say I'm
Oh, yeah,
66.
I'm
I'm
71. I'll be 72 in March.
Yes, and you look younger than I do,
Yeah.
and you look amazing to be 72. And also, it's very inspiring for me and other women to have a woman in her 70s leading a group of other women and helping them reinvent themselves or helping them feel empowered and all of that. So, what advice would you offer to other women who may be considering a change but feel held back by age or circumstance? What would you say to them?
I would say join a book club that's gonna help you expand yourself. Be with other women who can help you grow. Find find a group of women that will help you. Come to the community of women.
There you go. If you're in
And
Chandler, Arizona, if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, you can
right
do
next
that.
week, if you're in Chandler, Arizona on the 14th, come and join us.
Yes, because you're going to have an amazing speaker then,
Yes.
and you have lots of great speakers.
Right.
Um, are there any myths about reinvention in the later stages of life that you'd like to dispel?
I think ageism, because that it once it crossed, because it does cross my mind. I am approaching 72, but I just say no, age is just a number, and it really is just a number.
It really is, and I had this argument with myself when I first started coaching, and that was, you're too old. So part of my mind was saying you're too old. There are women in their 30s doing this and 40s, and they're going to have a much longer career at it or whatever, which isn't true. Not necessarily true. Some people coach for a few years and then they're done, or they don't want to do it anymore or whatever. And then I would have the conversation with myself. Nope, nope, you are not too old. You are just right. You're at the perfect age because you have a lot to offer, a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom that maybe other people don't have. And in fact, age doesn't even equal wisdom. Or you can't just say, well, I'm wise because I'm a certain age. It has nothing to do with it. Um, and one of the things I have a document which I shared with you one time. I think it was the presentation I did at Community of Women where I shared my I am statements. And this wasn't in it at the time, but now it is. I've changed it up a little bit. But one of my statements is I am ageless, committed to growth, and master of my destiny.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it too because it just reminds me that doesn't matter where you are, if you have a goal or you want to do something, it doesn't matter your age. You still have to develop the same skills. You have to do the same thing. So don't let age hold you back. Like you could still learn and develop as you're proving,
Mhm.
right, Lena? You're proving that. I want to learn how to make chocolate ice cream and make it fudgier. I'm going to do that. I'm going to
Mhm.
learn how to create a book club or join a book club. I'm going to create a community of women and empower them. And you follow your heart. And I love that you got these messages from the universe, from God saying, this is what you're supposed to do next. So can you talk about that piece of it, like deep listening or how you got these messages and what it felt like and
Sure. So I have a morning routine where I meditate, actually verbal meditation. My husband and I are Buddhists. We've been Buddhists for over 50 years. And so it's a verbal meditation. It's a chant that we do, which raises your vibration. And during that, um, I I'm I was just this was when I was going through this neuro gym training, and one of the audios that they had was visualization. And so I was doing the visualization audio and my mind was just going like crazy. And so when I was in this meditation prayer kind of a state, I was getting all these messages, downloads. This is what you should do. So I started writing it down, and I just got a piece of paper and started writing it down. And then it was, this is what you need to do. It was like an instruction. It was so weird. And so I couldn't say no. I was like, and the more I wrote, the more it just kept coming out, and the ideas kept coming out. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to do it.
I love
And
that. So you heard it. So you're meditating, you're opening your mind to getting the downloads, right? Like the
right,
meditation is a quieting of the mind. And when you quiet the mind, that allows for infinite intelligence to enter into the mind and to give you ideas and or instruction, right? Is
right.
that okay? And then what you did with that was you listened and you started writing it all down, and then you were like, okay, this making sense to me, like I can do this is something I
Yes.
want to do.
And
Okay,
it was more, I need to do this.
I
It was
need to
more
do
of
this.
it was more of a feeling that I need to do this. It was like a mission kind of.
I love that. um Looking back, is there any advice you would give to your younger self?
My younger self.
Yeah, I mean, we could go back to the
To
age of
not be
5,
so
right? Or
hard on myself. I think that would have been it.
ah, when do you think you started being hard on yourself?
Probably always. I think we grow up with certain expectations our parents have, so those expectations that they have on us, I think we're having on my shoulder. I don't know. But yeah, I think it was that, letting that go.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's self-imposed. I mean, my daughter is, I don't know if you study the Enneagram, but she's a type 1 on the Enneagram, which is the like the perfectionist. It's like the person who is most hard on themselves. They're
Yes,
most hard on themselves, and they have these high standards for themselves, and that sort of transfers into high expectations of others. Even though a healthy personality will be okay with other people not having their same standards, they won't necessarily be judgy or anything like that. But there will be some level of frustration, starting with yourself. And then you have, because you have these high standards for yourself, sometimes, at least this is in her case, you expect other people to have, to do certain things
I
the
don't
way,
expect anybody to do it. I don't.
yeah, yeah.
I've learned, I think that's one of the things I've learned over the years is everyone's different. They come to the table with their own stuff and it has nothing to do with me.
Well, that's true. It has to do with how they grow up, their personality, what they've experienced, what their thinking is.
Right. I really respect that. I really, whoever they are.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That's good that you have respect. And I think, like I said, a healthy personality like my daughter respects everybody else as well. But she does have this high expectation of herself. Um, and So let's talk about Community of Women. Why did you start Community of Women? I know you got the download. I know you all that. You don't even talk about why, but tell us about the community and what you're doing. Now, this is local. This is in Chandler, Arizona,
In Chandler,
or
Arizona, and
yeah.
we've been a group for a year now. And I wanted to really raise the bar with this group and bring quality speakers to the group so that they would learn from the experts. And you were one of my favorite, Lisa. I loved you when you came.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, because I'm not an expert, and they're not coming to see me, so you know, I want them
Oh,
to learn from the best, people who have um, their own, overcome their own challenges and are accomplished in their own life. And so I've noticed that we get a lot of coaches, we get a lot of speakers, we also get authors. So I just love it. I'm learning myself and enjoying every moment of it.
That's wonderful. So you meet at Mimi's Cafe once a month on Thursdays in
Mhm.
Chandler, and you have about anywhere between 12 and 25 people show up, right? Like it's you you never know, but usually the table's full. And
Yes,
typically everybody has a nice lunch. You go around introducing yourself and all of that, and then you have the guest speaker,
yes.
which is great. And then I think you do a giveaway at the end, typically.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really a lovely event. So even if you're not here in Arizona and you want to create something like that yourself, you can connect with Lena or look at her website, which is Lena. Let's tell everybody your website.
It's communityofwomen.org.
Okay.
We're an org.
.org, communityofwomen.org.
Yes.
And then did you want to say anything more about that or?
Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our Thursday upcoming meeting. We're going to have this Thursday, this coming Thursday, we've got Danielle Williams, who is a cancer survivor, and just going to be really an empowering, emotional empowering experience for people. It's going to be wonderful. And so my main goal is to have everyone enjoy themselves, make them walk out that door like they feel empowered and just ready to go.
There you go. So yeah, so today, well, as of this recording, it's early November. So she's talking about November 14th. And a lot of times people will listen to this after the event. So if
That's
you,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So if you want future event information, go to communityofwomen.org and you can find Lena there. So Lena, thank you so much for being my guest today and for talking about reinventing yourself and starting over. Um, I love that you just kept doing that and without a whole lot of hesitation. You just like, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try this, and it's all worked out. And now you're doing something super fun and exciting and empowering
Yeah,
for
it is
women.
fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being my guest today, Lena. I really appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
All righty. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to My Golden Life. We'll see you on the next episode.